we're always rushing. We're always rushing right at the end because we wanted to show you some cool tools that have come out from AI that can really help you with your YouTube content beyond ChatGPT. I found this really cool thing, and I'm pretty excited about showing it to you. But before we do this, and Joe and I, you didn't know I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do this. I want to show everybody something. So my friend Joe here has decided that he was going to revamp his channel, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, And then because we're doing this course together, and he was like, well, I think I should start like redoing my YouTube channel, my real estate YouTube channel, so everybody knows what we're talking about actually works. And so he kind of like started basically fresh because he hasn't done anything in I don't know, over a year.
Yeah, right? at least a year.
Right. So we let me share the screen real quick. So here we go. Which one is it? Here we go. Okay, share. All right. So here's his channel. Everything about real estate. All right. Right. So you can see he hasn't this was like over a year ago. He did this video and hasn't done much with it since then. He's worked on another channel since then as well, like it's an editing channel. So then 2 weeks ago, he puts out this video. As soon as I saw the video, I'm like, that thumbnail is fire. But we did a couple little tweaks to it to make it even pop off even more. He had right when it came out, what, you got like 500 views?
Yeah, it went fast. It went like right up.
Yeah, and then it looked like it had plateaued, and I'm like, oh, let's just tweak a few little things on it, just to see if it will pop up even more. And then it went, whoo. So when you get really excited about it like this, you're like, oh no, a lot of people are like, oh man, I had one that did really well out of the gate. What do I do next? But you did it, right? You knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is the recon that I did, like really going through and understanding my avatar, the viewer, learning everything that we teach, right? It goes back to what we're teaching of like the stuff works. You just have to be willing to put in the time. And so I spent time researching who my viewer is. I have my Frank. I know, I have a pretty good idea of who it is. And so I'm putting that content out there. And then, but it is pressure because like the first one did well and you're like, oh man, is this gonna do as well, or is it gonna bomb, or is it gonna, and then coming up with the thumbnail and all that stuff. But there were patterns that I saw in my research and I'm like, this has to work. And so I put a little extra effort in the beginning because I had designed my thumbnail very, very first. And then I came up with my title, but my title wasn't exactly what it is now. I tweaked it a little bit right after I launched it because I wasn't happy with it. I was like, I don't really like that. That doesn't sound like me. I don't like that. So I shortened it a little bit better, and that I was good with it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it. And so then I released that one like 3 days ago, and it's already beat the one I did 2 weeks ago.
But here's the thing people don't understand is that the tweaks that you made to your thumbnail were so incredibly minor to the second video, right?
Yeah.
He had done three different thumbnails. One of them had a red background. One of them had the blue background. And then I suggested, well, I think the United States is a little hard to see. Why don't you put a white shadow underneath it so you can see the outline of the United States? So you did the first one, and then it wasn't doing like it wasn't doing bad, but it wasn't really taking off. Then the second one, it was doing a little bit better, and then you did the white outline, and then it went.
Yeah, it shot up. Yeah,
it shot up. So I'm gonna share something else. You probably I'm gonna share something else with everybody. He actually sent me a video via text, and I uploaded it so you guys can see.
Oh, jeez.
the back end part of it, just so you guys understand. Like, these are conversations that Joe and I have all the time, and it's so important to have somebody that is in this game with you. I always tell my students, you need an accountability partner, so that way you can bounce off ideas to each other, and you can understand. You can learn so much more by trying to go through YouTube together, and you can really lift each other up if you have an accountability partner. So let me show you this other thing that he sent me. So let's share this tab. All right, this is what he sent me via text. So I'm going to share it with everybody else.
So I'm just doing a quick little video to show you right here.
That's where he changed the
my video flatlined, and right there in the first 3 hours I had
first 3 hours right there.
views.
52 views, and then you changed it.
I actually
He's right on screen.
In that spot, I actually changed the thumb. I changed the thumbnail.
That's where you changed the thumbnail, and that's where it started taking off.
It immediately had an uptick.
And that little change made a huge difference.
Yeah. If you look at the traffic source, like it's
and then you're looking at your traffic sources, and it was browse and suggested right away.
Are like the two main things.
Look at that.
So
that's where your views come from. I know that everybody's like really into YouTube search because that's what we were taught when we first got onto YouTube. 6%. But it's not YouTube search that gets you all the traffic. It's browse and suggested. And in our course, Joe and I's course, that's what we teach. We teach you how to get real actual views that drives a lot of traffic to your channel. So that way you have better sources of traffic. So you can get a lot more engagement, and you can get lots more interaction with real people that are interested in your topic. So that way you get them to close as real estate deals. You know, I know that like there's nothing wrong with search traffic, but it's very limited.
Yeah.
And what we teach in our course is how to get in that browse and suggested. So you have so many more opportunities to capture even more people as working clients for yourself. That's what we're teaching. And like, honest to God, that's what works. Let's see. We don't have any comments. I thought we were going to have some comments, but we do not. But yeah, that's the whole name of the game right there.
Like 100%. And I think that's the thing it's the hardest thing I think for people to wrap their brain around is that if you make really good content, but you don't have a good thumbnail and you don't have a good title, it doesn't matter how good your content is because nobody's going to watch it. And so, and vice versa, like you could have a crazy good thumbnail and good title, and then your bounce rate is high because you made crappy content. So you have to have a balance and do both. It takes work and it takes time to do it. But if you follow the steps and the things that like we teach,
and the right kind of research.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Right kind of research.
Those
like
things
get stuck on those tools. Right.
And that's the thing that's crazy is like you said, I haven't made a video in over a year, and even the videos that I have made never got that traction because I didn't really care. I made the video for me.
We're just messing around.
Yeah,
really.
I made the video for me. I didn't really care to like say, hey, I want to grow a buyer, a buyer list, and I want to have all this stuff, and then my wife got her license, and I'm like, well, I probably should start doing some stuff so that she can get some leads. And so I put into practice what we teach, and the results speak for themselves. It's not like a fluke thing. It's not something that I did that had some special Google juice or whatever. I'm going to use that term all the time now.
You didn't use geotagging on your thumbnails?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I put like 30 seconds into my keywords and like that kind of stuff. But like at the end of the day, like that wasn't, I actually, and we can talk about this because we're talking about AI, is I actually used ChatGPT to write my description after my first couple sentences in my videos. And so it saved me a ton of time. I got what I wanted out in the first 2 sentences or so, and then it basically made a summary of the video for me.
I use ChatGPT for all my descriptions because I just put I'll show everybody how I do this because the effort that goes into the description part is not what gets a video found. I know that it has some merit and weight to it, don't get me wrong, but it's not as much as a lot of people make it out to be. Because I mean, I know that I was told years ago, and I joke about this all the time, that I was supposed to write a 350-word blog post in my description in order for the video to be found, and using all the tags and keywords that were found with all those stupid tools, so that way it would have more Google juice.
Yeah.
Total horse crap. Total horse crap.
Yeah.
So, but I was laughing because I was looking at this. I was looking at this whole thing after you sent me that, and I was looking to see what your top performing videos were from the years past. And it was funny because Joe's been my accountability partner on YouTube since for like over 4 years now. And when we were doing Channel Jumpstart with Daryl Eves years ago, he was just doing a couple of videos. And this thumbnail I helped him with, and this thumbnail I helped him with. That made me mad. That made me happy. That I'm like, even then, I knew what I was kind of doing then.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, it's like it wasn't an afterthought. Like everything was planned, everything was put together before the video, and so many people put so much emphasis on making good content that it's literally an afterthought to upload a thumbnail or to come up with a title.
Right. But these were I thought I was sharing this tab. This was the two that we had done years ago.
I still remember when we were going back and forth talking about these thumbnails, and I remember you're like, you should do like a big like they're moving, and like we just that's the beauty of like having someone that when you talk with someone, everyone will give you advice, right? Like they're more than happy to give you advice, but is it the right advice? And that's the difference, is when you find your people and you find a group of people, just because they need to be the people that are going to tell you that sucks, like that's not good. So they need to understand what works. And if someone is coaching you and telling you that you should be doing it a certain way, but they don't have any kind of like social proof to that, like you should have some questions come up and go, well, why are you coaching if you're not doing that? And so that's the beautiful thing about like understanding how these things work. And it doesn't matter like YouTube, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. If you make good content and you can understand how to make a good thumbnail and a good title and something that will hook them, and then you have good content to do engaging, like to get comments, to get likes, to get people to do that stuff, then YouTube loves viewers. And so they're like, hey, I'm going to push this out to more people because you did make good content. So it's not, it's not just one thing. There's a recipe that you have to put together, and just adjusting and tweaking the elements to make the very best video you can. But just like Christina was saying, just a couple little teeny tweaks of like an outline of like what the country is, just so you can see it a little bit better. Just that little teeny tweak made a huge difference. And so, and those were all three of those were planned before I even launched my video. Like I already knew, okay, these are the ones that I'm going to use. And then I asked Christina, what do you think? Do you think I should tweak any of these? She's like, I like them. Maybe just do one that has an outline. And so that was a very, very little thing, but it made a huge, huge difference. And so,
oh, look at this. Love your content.
Oh, they're saying
Christina, not sure if you're aware, but your sound is very, very hard to hear.
Yeah, I think I've heard the same thing. It's kind of like maybe unplug your mic and then plug it back in.
Maybe that's a good idea.
We'll figure this out, you know?
Yeah, one day I'll be a good YouTuber. Is it any better?
No, it still sounds like a little bit robot-y and cuts out.
You know what? I can jump to another computer.
Okay, maybe try that, because it seems like it is a little hard to hear.
Hold on one second. Let me do this. Audio.
Sorry, we have a little technical difficulties, but this is really like the content that we're going to be sharing is really, really good. So we want to make sure that you guys can hear it.
Does that sound any better?
Oh, that's way better. That's way better.
Oh, okay. So it said it automatically adjust your mic volume. There's a setting in StreamYard, so people need to know this. That says automatically adjust your mic volume and then reduce mic noise. So I hit those two buttons, and then I guess that did the trick.
Yeah, you're coming in crystal clear now.
Oh, interesting. So I guess I just needed to do that. Thank you for letting me know, by the way, living in Moselle Bay. I hope I said that right. Moselle Bay?
Moselle?
Anyway.
I don't well, hey,
Much better. Much better. Okay.
Well, I think going back to what we were talking about is, and I don't know if they caught that because it was pretty hard to understand what you were talking about. So maybe just briefly go over what you said. Like we've been on 15 minutes and like maybe a summary of how they can get better retention, better
views.
What
I was saying is that there is no we're going to be talking about AI tools in just a minute, but there's no specific tool that's going to that's going to make your YouTube channel blow up. It is work. And it all comes down to knowing how to research properly. That's probably the biggest thing. And if you're using only tools to find your research and you're researching with only those tools, you're going to be highly disappointed because that's not what you're supposed to do as far as researching is concerned. That's what Joe and I have our teach, and that's what we've been taught, and that's why we've been successful with the videos we've been successful. The other thing is there's no specific hack. There's no I saw this thing where they were talking about geotagging your thumbnails so it will create more Google juice and you'll rank better. That's not a thing. That's not a real thing. I've talked to Daryl even about it the other day, and he laughed. He said, well, that was a thing years and years and years ago, but that isn't going to make your videos rank or do any better than they did if you didn't have it. It all comes down to very simple things of do the work. I mean, I know this. Yeah. Work is a 4-letter word. Do the work, do the right research, make a really good thumbnail, make a really good title, and have a really good content strategy. Those are all things that Joe and I teach in our course. And it's the way that I know in some people's mind, they're like, oh, well, it's because you started off early and that's why you have, all this traction on your channel. Oh no, I've had some stinker videos, because I've been coming up with new ideas. That's not it. It's a lot of things that come together. It's not just one thing. It's a lot of different things. And those small tweaks, this is a quote from Daryl Eves, small tweaks create big peaks. And if it wasn't just for Joe making that very small tweak of, that white outline, I mean, maybe he would only be at, 3,000 views, but that small tweak made it more interesting for the people wanting to click on videos, for them to catch it with their eye. So they wanted to click. And that's the whole thing. If you can get them to click, you've beat half the battle right there.
Yep, exactly. And then it goes into the next parts of it is, do you have a good hook? Do you have a story? Do you have, because it's not just that, just like you're saying, there's different elements, and there are things to make your life easier as you're doing it with AI, but really you still have to do the work. But but a lot of it, like there's certain things now that it's going to make our lives a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So let's talk about the first thing, right?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. So I want to show this because this is the coolest thing I have ever seen. So first, let me go back to the video that I was going to show first, but I put a little. I couldn't. I know you probably didn't really want me to show your stuff, but I was too excited. So Nick Dimon came out with a video the other day, and this was
everything that I'm getting ready to share with you is the best.
It was so cool. So let me show you. Share this tab. Hold on. Can you see this, Nick's?
Yep,
thing?
we can see it. Yep.
Okay, so it says this studio is fake, and he's not joking. It is fake. So I tried this. So I'm going to show you my little thing. So it is an AI tool by firefly.adobe.com, and then you do upload in InPaint, and then you take a screenshot of your background, and I'll show you exactly how I did this. Right, I'm going to show you. I'm trying to do this. I'm so used to having a guy do this for me that I have to kind of duck down. Sorry, Brad. Here we go. All right, so this is the original look. This is how my background always looks every single time. It's always the all this garbage in the background. So say I didn't want to do that anymore and I wanted to add or take away some stuff. Look what I did.
That's cool.
I know. So it made it look like a totally different office, and it used all the same lighting and everything. And so when the video plays, I had to mask myself out. I had to like put myself out. And then as soon as I did that, it would move, and it made it look like this was the real background, and it was not. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. So you did some kind of like zoom, like a slow zoom in to make it seem like that was a real background. So it's not like, because a lot of times when you have a background like that, it looks flat. But if you add a little bit of movement, you can't do that with like a fake background. So that's so cool that like AI is able to match the lighting, the composition, and everything, and still you could change it for whatever you wanted.
Right. So what I did have to do is I had to cut myself out. So that way I could still be moving, but this stuff in the background would stay still and it wouldn't look weird or choppy looking. So I was still moving. My chair was still moving, but this stuff stayed the same.
Yeah.
And that is really good if you're creating content for YouTube and you're making different points, right?
It's actually pretty scary what you could do with that, because I saw the same video because you sent it to me earlier, and he had a Porsche or something in the driveway when he was talking, and it's like, it looks so real.
Like, because he was standing by the pool and he masked himself out, and then he started adding little houses there, and then he had a luxury car right there, right in front of the pool, and it looked real. It didn't look fake.
Yeah.
So if you were at a luxury listing and you weren't able to,
and you needed a car.
Yeah, you didn't have the budget to afford a Lamborghini to drive up into. You could just walk past the Lamborghini, but it's not really there. It's fake. That's wild. And it looked real.
It did. Yeah. I had to rewind it. I'm like, that is amazing. The way that the lighting and everything, it looks so real. It's a game changer. And he did it like that. Like all he had to do is do a little prompt, and then it replaced it with that stuff, because the generative fill and the AI now can talk with whatever background you're using, and he also took like out his keyboard because it was in front of him, and then just added extra parts of his desk and stuff, and it looked totally real.
All right, so I'm just gonna play a little bit. I kept the volume off, and the only reason I did that was because I don't want to get like a copyright. Yeah. So this is what he's doing. So he just changed his background all these different ways. And he shows you how to actually do that, where you can zoom in and zoom out with this tutorial. And it's only 10 minutes long, especially if you have like, he's using, what is it?
Adobe Premiere.
Yeah, he's using Adobe Premiere. But then I want to show the when he did the background with the here we go.
Yeah, right there.
Hold on. All right, let's go here, and this is where he did the car. Like, there's the house. There's another house. There's a pool. There's the house again, and look, he's gonna throw a car in there.
Okay, that was pretty cool.
And
it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's really not that hard. When I was watching, I'm like, oh my gosh. And you, of course, have to, like, you're watching this tutorial, and if you don't have Adobe, you're like, oh, I can't do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah. You just got to learn how to mask. You have to learn how to mask with like your program. That's it. Yeah. Like I have Final Cut Pro, so I learned how to mask with Final Cut Pro, and I was able to do it. And then if you have an editor, you can do the same thing with them. Tell them, hey, watch this video. Make sure the background of this changes. And it looks so much better than a green screen.
Yeah.
And, like green screens can give a weird cast. I use them at times. I have used them. I just started using my green screen recently again. But this makes it so much better because like it looks like I have a whole new office background, but it still has that same lighting and feel. But
Yep.
you know that something's a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth watching because he really explains in depth how to change that stuff, and then even do an adjustment layer, and then you can change the whole like color and feel of the whole video. So it's pretty cool, like what you can do with just Firefly. Like that's such a cool program. There's another one we could talk about too, is if you upload video and you don't have great audio, you can upload your stuff, because Adobe has another product. It's escaping my mind right now for a second what it is, but basically you can upload that and it'll take out all the echoes and everything, and it sounds just like you're mic'd up. I'll have to remember. I could put that in like a comment or something. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called. So
what's that one that we use all the time to take out all the pauses in our video?
that one is
Thunderbolt? No, it's not Thunderbolt. It's
no, it is. Yeah.
Is it Thunderbolt?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't find an ad for it because I wanted to show them. I wanted to show them this thing called Thunderbolt. Maybe I'll just put Thunderbolt app, so that way they can see the app.
Is it? Yeah, I think it's Thunderbolt, right?
Yeah, I think so. Let me look, because I use it all the time. This was the thing that saved my life. If you edit your own videos, TimeBolt. That's what. Yep, I got it wrong. TimeBolt. Damn, I'm so glad I looked. Okay, let me share this screen. Okay, so TimeBolt is an app that you can put on your computer, and you know how like when you're recording something and you'll be mid-sentence and then you pause for a period of time and then you get right back into it because you were trying to like gather your thoughts. It takes all those pauses out of your video. Not only does it take all the pauses, it actually cuts them out and throws them all the way to the end, so you don't need them, that you can throw them away, but it lets you know that it's still there. Like it doesn't completely erase them. And then that way your video is already cut up for you. So when you have a section that's terrible, all you have to do is hit delete. Do you know how much time that saves you? Because the first thing I ever did with anything I ever edited was I would go through and cut out all the pauses first. And that would take a good 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
That has eliminated that. It takes like literally 10 seconds. It's done.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what program. You can do it in Final Cut, you can do it in Adobe, like you can do it in Camtasia, like whatever editor you're using, they have the scripts for each of those editing platforms, and it'll do it for it. And it's fast.
Yep. So it auto detects the silence, it removes it, and then it gives you a file that you can put right into your editor, and it's already pre-cut for you. So you could just literally sit there and just delete all the parts that you don't want to say anymore. I mean, I could ramble on for like 26 minutes and then it has cut it all out. And I do all this pre-editing before I send it over to my editor, so it flows the way I want it to. And that right there has like eliminated so much time for me and the editor that's editing my videos. So I mean, there's no affiliation for me. I don't get an affiliate link, but it is a fantastic program. I strongly suggest, even if you're not editing your videos yourself, if you're hiring an editor, sometimes they don't understand all the words that are coming out of your mouth, and they end up like repeating the same thing you had said twice. And you're like, this doesn't make any sense. I already said that. So you can pre-edit this because you have this tool, and it will save you so much time. And then once you get it all in order, then you throw it over to the editor, and then they can edit it for you. That I strongly suggest this one. So
yeah, 100%. There's also, so it's Adobe Enhance. That's the you can upload an audio file that's poor quality, and it will use AI, and it will enhance and fix your it will fix your audio. And it basically, you just upload the file and then download it. So this is the one that one of our students, he recorded a 12 or 20 minute video, I can't remember, and he forgot that his mic wasn't turned on. And
Yeah.
so he actually uploaded it to this, and it came back perfect. And he was like, it saved me like so much. Like, thank you so much for like that tip.
Right. So yeah, so because it was recording just from the actual
Just from
camera
into the
itself.
camera. Right.
Right.
Yep.
So that was sounded tinny and echoey and not very clear. He threw it in there and it sounded just like he had a microphone. It sounded
Yep.
great. Like
Yep.
it really saved his life.
Yeah.
Instead of having to throw that all away and re-record.
That we have a question or a comment. It says, so you edit your raw video with TimeBolt, then upload it into your editing software. No, you just connect your, basically it's a, what's the file format that it makes? It creates a type of format and it'll actually edit it for you.
Correct. So like I have a clip that's on my hard drive, right? So we'll just say it's a movie file or whatever. I will go over to TimeBolt and it will say select a file. And then I will select it from that little hard drive, the external hard drive I have. And then it says, what format do you need it in? Do you need it in, and I need it for Apple, my Apple Final Cut Pro. And then as soon as I hit that, all of a sudden it saves a separate file that has all the pre-cut sections. Then I go into my editor itself and it says import. I import that file that it made from TimeBolt. And then as soon as I import it, it will show all the little sections segmented out. They're already cut, pre-cut.
Yep.
That's what I do. It saves so much time.
Yeah, it saves a ton of time. And the other thing that's cool about it is, depending on how you edit, a lot of people, like I used to do this where I just cut like a little teeny bit of a video and then I do a new section. Now I can just do the whole thing in one take, upload one file, and then I can use TimeBolt. And there's other things that you can do with it, but it's just one file to then take from and cut and edit. So
Right.
It saves me from going back in and missing something, or then you get caught, or the lighting is different or something's different. It just makes the video look that much better.
Yep. It's so easy.
Yeah.
So easy. Yep. All right. So let's see here. Okay, my next trick. Everybody knows this one, but I think everybody should learn how to use it and then pay for the extra. Here we go. We're going to share this tab.
Yep.
ChatGPT. This to me is my personal assistant. Not only does it help me with video creation because it helps me flesh out my ideas, it also helps me, and it should help you too. I don't know how many of you get emails that are just like, oh, I just don't want to answer this right now, right? Just take the email, copy and paste it in ChatGPT and say, please help me answer this email personally, please. And then sure enough, boom, it will answer your email for you. Copy, paste, throw it in there. I know that sounds super impersonal, and please review those. Just don't copy. Like, look at it beforehand before you push send, because sometimes it will say, as an AI generated tool, I don't really have the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So, you take all that out. But it really can save you so much time,
a ton of time.
And it already writes my descriptions. It wrote this description for this video. So I will put in there, I need a paragraph for this. Hold on, this title. That's it. That's all and then I will put, what was the title of this video?
The title of this one was, let me see, I'll tell you. Maybe
it was using
AI to sell or something like that.
Using AI for real estate videos. Using AI for real estate videos. And then I put it in, I even spelled it wrong. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, anyways, so look, this is what I did. Boom. This is what it did instantaneously. And if you're if you're still like sold on the whole SEO thing,
Yeah.
like I need it to be SEO. All right, can you make this more SEO friendly? Right? Boom. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, and the other
So,
thing too is as you do that, like there's lots of things you can use this for, like not just like you can do descriptions for your listings and like all the stuff that you have to sit there and like used time, that stuff can go away now. You can just tell it. And I'm so lazy that I use the voice to text and I'll just do that and then it just writes it and then it'll put it in there and give me the description and then I can just copy and paste it.
and then I say, can you make this sound more human? Boom.
The
Right?
other thing that I do, and I'm sure you do this too, is it's like do it at a
Mhm.
7th grade reading level.
Oh, yes. Oh, I do it 8th grade.
Yep.
And the reason why Joe and I do this is studies have proven that if you take the mass education of everyone in the United States and scooped it all up and circled it around, everybody's pretty much on an 8th grade level. So if you make all of your descriptions when you're doing this, tell the AI, make it readable for at an 8th grade level, it will read easier for the person. So I say, I'll do that right now. Can you make this at a 8th grade reading level? Doo-doo-doo. Absolutely.
And there it goes.
Yep.
And if you read it, it sounds so much. I mean, they use different words, like all that stuff goes back to, so you can take a very complex idea and you can
Flush it out.
Yeah, you can flush it out and write it at a level that is more understandable by the masses.
Okay, so I'm just going to read the first 2 sentences to make it you understand. So this is where we've messed with this a couple times. It says using AI for real estate videos has changed the way we show properties in today's market. It has it's like having a cool tool that helps real estate agents and companies create awesome video content that grabs the attention of the potential buyers and investors. Okay, so the original thing, it says, using AI real estate videos has revolutionized the way properties are showcased in the modern market. Leveraging the power of artificial intelligence, real estate agents and companies can now create captivating and immersive content and effective engages potential buyers and investors. So they took that and made it sound much more easy and digestible to read because we brought it down to an 8th grade level. And I like that the fact that it's very condensed too, because you don't really want it too wordy. You really don't want a description too wordy. So every real estate agent, anybody in any business, even if you have a kid, like this tool has saved me so much time because it helps you flesh out your real estate video content ideas too.
Yeah.
Because I will have a thought process when it comes to affordable housing. And then I'll say, does this make sense? Can you help me understand this better? Like, why is it investors think that they should be, like I will I'm asking it questions like it's a human being. And that's what you should be too. When people say, what prompts are you using for your chat?
You talk to it.
You just talk to it. It's like, think of it as a human being on the other side. I even say please and thank you. And only because if the robots take over, I want them to be, there's a catalog of I was friendly to them and they won't hurt me.
I do agree. I do think that this is a very underutilized tool. And a lot of people, I think, are afraid or don't know because it's something new. And so they don't know how much their life can change. And what it does is it frees up your time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really kind of what we're trying to do is we're trying to expedite the stuff that we're doing on the minutia to actually spend the time on things that really do matter, like your research, like understanding, and that. We got a Facebook user that says, I argue with it sometimes.
Yeah, well, and I've argued with it too. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. They had a beta for a moment where you could actually copy the link into Chat GPT and it would read the article and give you a a synopsis of what the article was about without the fluff. Well, I had put in the Jerome Powell state, like the whole thing from the
from the Fed,
from the White House, from
Yeah.
the Fed, right? The whole meeting. And I was asking it questions about what he had said about the housing market. And it was referring to something that had happened almost a year earlier. And I'm like, that was in that briefing? And they were like, no, sorry, it wasn't. That was in this one. And I'm like, but I asked you to break down this one. You know?
Yeah.
So what I still had to copy and paste it and then ask it what Jerome Powell had said about housing, because I didn't care about any other garbage, if I
Right.
were to be honest.
Right.
I wanted to know a direct quote from him about housing. And so it did it for me. But that saved me so much time. So I didn't have to leaf through that whole all those conversations that I had with the reporters and everything else. All I had to do is copy, paste it, ask ChatGPT, and it did it for me.
Yeah, it's a really cool tool just to put that stuff in there and have it say, give me a summary of this. And then it gives you that summary of the whole video. And then you could say, okay, tell me more about the real estate part of this. And then it'll expand on that. It's really quite incredible. And I do think that there's a lot of opportunity, especially for the things that we do every day, to take a second and not to become like a drone and just copy and paste, but like to put some thought behind it and to ask it questions and to massage it until it gets to where it's something that you're like, okay, that's good stuff. Just like what we just did. But it only took a few seconds to do that whole process. Where before, if you were to sit down and write a description from scratch, it's going to take a lot longer, because then you're like, okay, like I got to and then it's, like, if you're like me, I'm not a great speller. So then I'm one of those where I have to, I misspelled it, or I have to go through spell check and everything. It does all that for you. You can even misspell your question and it still gets the idea and will spit out the information.
I get it. I do it all the time. All right, we got to get some channel
reviews. Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so I believe that we did this one last week, I thought.
We did. I just didn't know, because there was one that was 6 days ago, and so I didn't know if we must have caught that one. So
we've already done this one.
Yep, we did that one.
All right, so let's do this one. Share this tab instead. Oh, I got one that's playing. Hold on, let me pause her video because it's playing. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. All right, we have, I don't know how to say this last name. Goker Group. Okay, sorry if I mispronounced it. I'm so sorry. All right, he's the Alaska Realtor. All right, there's a lot of words going on here. So I'm going to start first and you can go right after that, Joe.
Go ahead. Yep.
All right. So right here, there's no value proposition to the person that's wanting to find out more about you as a real estate in Alaska. You want to give them a reason to want to go to your channel and watch your videos. You need to give them some value proposition that makes them want to see it. Alaska is beautiful. Show the Alaska background. And I would take this whole logo off and then said, helping you build an intentional, significant legacy for your family and by coaching you in real estate. So I would even try to condense that down, those words. I would try to condense that down quite a bit. Because even if you were to try to read this on a cell phone, it's going to be nearly impossible. You have this whole thing taken up with this huge logo. And then your words, which are important for the person to understand what your channel is about, is so incredibly small. They're not going to be able to see what it's about. I wouldn't put the top producer in Alaska, and I wouldn't, you could leave serving Central Alaska, but I mean, you're already an Alaska real estate agent. Your website on here isn't necessary. I would just put it over here on your little tabs where you put on your website. You don't need to have a video featured every week. You don't need to put subscribe. Everybody knows to subscribe at this point. I would like, you've got too much stuff on here. All right, Joe, your turn.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Just showcase the beauty of Alaska, especially where you're at. Really,
Yeah.
because there could be some stunning photos that you could use of depending on where you're at with the mountainscapes or with, you've got a bear eating a salmon, or I don't know what's behind all that text, a moose maybe, but like use that beauty because I mean that would draw a lot of people right off the bat. The other thing is you do have all these other social media links taking you away from your channel. You want to keep everyone there. So if you are going to have something there, the only thing that I recommend, or we both would recommend, is having book a call or connect with you, and this go to a landing page or a squeeze page where you can get their name, phone number, email, and they can get a hold of you like very easily. So yep. I would remove all the other stuff out of there and just make it as clean as possible, really showcasing the beauty. If your broker requires that you have your brokerage and that, then make sure it's just kind of off to the side and small.
Yeah, just stick it over here on the left-hand side. That's what I do.
Yep.
That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. But
I do like his profile picture though. I think that's great.
Me too. I feel like we've seen him before, maybe.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Well, I mean, he definitely has, besides the kind of the outline, and I don't know what's going on, if that's just part of with all the thumbnails with the white on the top and bottom of it. It looks kind of weird, but
yeah, it almost looks like a screenshot that was put in there. Yeah, I would remove that white border around there. Now, I do know that YouTube just started rounding the corners.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's the case that's making it do that, because this one doesn't have weird lines.
Yeah, I think it's something that maybe a stroke that was in on the thumbnail or something like that.
Yeah, so probably somebody told them to go ahead and put that white outline on there. I would take that off. Yeah. That would be my tip. I concur, Joe Eves.
I think that like the thumbnails actually have a lot of potential. He's not doing the typical thing, which is where they say the same thing in the thumbnail as they do in the title. Like he's definitely thinking about that.
Right. I would read, like, the titles of them do not need to have the date on them. I would take that date off of there. But the thumbnails are on point. I think if he really worked on his titling, he could have a really good, a channel that really picked up quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think
is this the same person? The person with the hat and no.
No.
Oh, you know what? They have to be related though. They have to be. They literally look
well, they're doing a market update, so maybe it's a team or something.
Maybe but even their eye color is the same.
Yeah.
This is freaking me out. I don't know if it's a friend of his or whatever. To me, they look related.
Yeah, I think he's doing. He's got a lot of a lot of that is already really good. There's just a couple things to clean up.
Small tweaks. He's gonna have small tweaks, big peaks.
Yep.
All right, here we go. We're gonna share this tab now. All right, because we're gonna have to blast through these. Holy cow! You have so much stuff on your banner. Wow. You go, Joe.
Okay, so I mean, first and foremost, it's way too busy. Like there's just and it's all about you. It's all about James. Like there's if you understand and know what YouTube wants, it's what the viewer wants. And so if you're doing what you want to do rather than what the viewer wants to see. So if you're doing like Fayetteville and surrounding areas, have a picture of that area or things that people can relate to with like they go tie into the area. But you don't need buying, selling, investing, relocating. I don't know if that's I don't know what this is. That say serving Fayetteville?
It's for military PC.
Got it. So like any of that kind of stuff, like just like like clean it up. There's just so much going.
I would just like Joe said, create the value for the person looking for the person watching videos. This is all about you. You need to serve an audience, and you're not serving an audience. You're just talking about yourself. What is it you're going to do for them? Why should they watch your videos? Why should they even be on your channel? And think about that when you're creating your channel banner. One more thing is, I think that you were looking up the EXP like a transparent, but when they gave you the file, they gave you those little
it's like transparent looking, but it's not transparent.
It's not transparent. So go and look for the one that is transparent, because you actually can see the little,
Squares.
The grid. Yeah, that's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be transparent.
You should see just white in the background.
Yeah, correct.
Or whatever color your background ends up being. It's transparent.
Correct. Right. And I would take off the TikTok and Facebook. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. I would just try to get them to, like Joe had said in the previous one, get them to call you. So bring them to a landing page where you can grab their information. Yep. All right. Let's look at their thumbnails really quick. North Carolina state veteran benefits. And then regret moving to Raleigh. This one right here, I would say benefits for buying a home. Like, give them another reason to understand what you're talking about. And I would instead of writing out North Carolina, I put N.C. state veteran home purchasing benefits.
Yeah, just by reading that title, I have no idea it has anything to do about real estate. Right.
Exactly. And then when you made your thumbnail, it kind of cut off a little bit when you did the white outline on the bottom. You can see at the bottom there, Joe, like it just looks like a white halo. If you just made that just a little bit bigger, just a scotch bigger, it wouldn't show that it's cut off at the bottom there.
Yeah. I wonder if that was almost on purpose too, like where they just outlined it and didn't move it down. And then it kind of like he was trying to make it pop out or something. I'm not really sure, but like the whole like white outline thing was a thing, but really like you should maybe focus on like get rid of that and do more of a soft drop shadow.
The drop shadow is the thing to do now.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the drop shadow, and it is what's working on YouTube today. That white outline thing, that was a thing in 2017. Yeah. That was the hardest thing for me to figure out to do. I didn't know how to do it, but now they made it so much easier. But you know, I don't hate this one. We're moving to Raleigh. I don't hate it. I don't hate this one.
I don't know if I would have that much text on there though, like on the thumbnail.
I wouldn't either, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think what you should probably do is start studying other people's thumbnails to see what's successful on YouTube today, and try to not necessarily copy or rip off, but be inspired on making better thumbnails that gets people to click. Like, this is good information right here. I just think if you had a better thumbnail, it would convert a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the biggest struggle though, right? Is getting it to where when you're designing these, oftentimes less is more. So if you can figure out how to create a thumbnail and you can tell a story about your video with very few words, and when people look at it, they know what it is automatically, then you've done a really good job.
Can I just tell you, the two thumbnails, I'm like, I really like this one. I really like this one because it's so simple for the eye to know exactly what this is about. Makes total sense for the video title. This is a great thumbnail. Yep. And then the next one, I was like, oh, this is a really good thumbnail too. And I looked, and it has 1,400 views. This was good. This is really good. If I was to get on you, you took a picture using your phone this way, and your arm is blocked off. Yep. It looks like someone like took a pair of scissors to your arm. It reminds me of those old paper dolls, that when you Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that would be
You
my
mean like stitch
thing.
on different arms and everything.
Yeah, but if you had to use that picture or you still have that thumbnail, you could go back and edit in your editor and
You just
make your
draw.
face bigger. That's all he
Yeah.
has to do is make his face bigger, and then it will cut off that that arm,
Yep.
yeah. So that's my suggestion. This is a good one too. I would also look at the length of your videos as well. I think some of the reason why they're not really getting picked up is that they're too short. Now there's a difference between shorts and long form content.
Yep.
And I just know for myself, if you're gonna make a long form video, you might as well make it over 8 minutes and 30 seconds. You're gonna get a lot more reach that way.
I agree. I do think that there's like, if you're like struggling to come up with something, you can always interject another thought with a different background and be like, oh, I meant to talk about this. And I actually did that in my last video. And because I was like, oh, I got to push it like a whole nother minute and at least, and I ended up doing a screenshot and just a voiceover and put it right in my thing as I was editing it, because I didn't want to go back in and film something. And I actually think it helped with retention because it disrupted what I normally was doing.
Yep. All right, here we are. We have Tanika the Realtor. She's in Laurel, Maryland.
So, I mean, I guess I'll go first. The same thing we've been talking about is I do like I like her picture. I think her picture is good.
Nice and clear.
Yep. I don't necessarily like any of the social media stuff on the side. Probably get rid of your contact information too, because you can have that in your about section and in your videos. But if you're going to have it there, people are going to be calling you that you just get more calls, unsolicited calls. Yes. That you don't want. As far as I like moving to Maryland, I would put something to do with Maryland, in there, but it's like, I like the helping you achieve your real estate goals.
How about helping you achieve your Maryland real estate goals?
Yeah, exactly. Like something
and
to
take all that
tie
rest
into
of it
that.
off.
Yep. And then if it's cleaner and you have some beautiful picture, then you could use that with the text, and it's just going to be a little bit more, or a lot, in my opinion, a lot more pleasing to see it. And it's like, oh, you're telling people about the area and you're showing them with a picture rather than it just being white. That's you're missing out on an opportunity to get a little bit more of that beauty.
Right. And I'm like, whenever you think of like Alaska, for instance, earlier, he had the moose and the bear catching the fish and all that stuff. That automatically makes people think of Alaska. I think you should kind of do the same thing with Maryland, because there's so many aspects about Maryland that instantaneously makes the person go, yep, that's Maryland. And of course the crabs and the Old Bay and all that stuff. I would have something as the background to your image, and like have houses and crabs and the little Maryland flag and all that. That's what I would do. Same thing that we also say right here is take off all of the social media sites. I mean, if you're going to pull them off of the platform of YouTube, just make them pull it off for a reason. And that reason is you want to capture them as a potential client. So if they're going to click on anything, make sure it goes to a landing page where you can collect that information, instead of like, who cares if they like your Facebook posts? I mean, unless you have a huge audience on any of these other platforms, I would not put any of them on there.
Yeah.
None.
You've worked hard to get them there. You don't want them to get distracted and pulled off onto some other platform where then you're gone.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Okay, so let's talk about her thumbnails real quick.
Okay. Well, first off, she's teeny tiny. If you're going to have yourself on the thumbnail, then you need to make sure you're bigger so you can see like the whites of your eyes. You really want to be the rule of thirds when you're doing this, just like when you're filming or taking pictures, is you've got 3 sections. You need to fill up at least 1/3 of that thumbnail section.
Correct. The words on there, I would have put foreclosed, at the top and then home tour at the bottom. So that way, that way they could see the house.
Yeah.
And then I would have had yourself so big that you almost covered up completely that garage.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't even see the garage. I would probably up the sharpness in the saturation of the actual house, so it like bounces off the screen a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a good point, is I think a lot of people, when you're doing the thumbnail, they do it at a normal saturation, and it's totally fine to bump the saturation almost to exaggerate it a little bit to really get those colors to pop. And I don't think a lot of people think about that. They're just like, well, it doesn't look natural. Well, when you're on your screen and you push those colors and the saturation goes more, it's going to pop off of the because again, we're not doing Google juice and keyword research. We're doing like suggested videos, and when people and browser suggested, so when they see it on the homepage or whatever,
it pops.
It pops and they want to click on it because it does have so much color in there.
Yeah, I over sharpen it. I use an app on my phone for my photographs. And I use an app called Snapseed. It's free, by the way. Love that. Favorite price, free.
Yep.
And I up the saturation to 32. No. Yeah, I up the sharpness and clarity up to 32% on each part of that. So the sharpness and clarity is up 32%. And then the saturation, I just up it to where I know it's almost unnatural. I get it. I'll flip it all the way to the top, and then I start pulling it back. And when it starts looking natural, that's when I stop.
Yep. And it makes a huge difference if you put those side by side. One is going to look more dull, and it's going to look bland. And then even though you're using the colors, and then you have the other one, and it just pops. And that's really what you're trying to do, is get that to pop right off the screen.
I do the same thing with my personal images as well. I exactly the same things, 32% sharpness, 32% clarity, and I will tweak them in that Snapseed because I want my image to be very sharp as well. And it was, when I started doing that, it was so obvious that, our friend Malcolm Lawson, he was like, hey, what did you do to like make your pictures look so crisp? I'm like, oh, let me show you. It's easy. It's free too, So yeah, that's just a simple way you can up your clarity of your thumbnails. Because even like it would even emphasize the leaves on the trees.
Yeah.
And the clarity
It'd be green, really green.
Super green and super crisp.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't put subscribe on your thumbnails either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to, the whole idea is they will subscribe if you put good content out. Like if you get the good information, and I think that's, people have been taught different things with different ways of doing it. But at the end of the day, like if you have good information and people find value, they're going to subscribe. That's just a natural way of how YouTube works.
I want to talk about this title really quick. Unlocking home ownership. Why 20% payment isn't always necessary. Uncovering 20%. You have 3 different titles here.
Yeah.
If you took this down, like I always tell people, like, don't make your title more than 65 characters. First of all, when I looked on this on the homepage, it truncated off anyway. You couldn't.
Yeah, can't read it. It's gone.
Couldn't read that. So you got to, like, I always tell everybody, when you're thinking about your titles, think of them like how the National Enquirer sells their papers. Make them very sensationalized and a reason for them to pick it up.
With that one, it would be so easy to just say 20% down payment isn't always necessary.
Even the word necessary is not necessary. So what I would say is you don't need 20% to buy a home. Yeah.
Make it a statement.
Mm-hmm. You do not need, and make it like, do not need 20% to buy a home. That if you just did that, that would have done 10 times better.
Yep.
Then this is just too much. And I understand, because even years ago, I used to do this because this was the SEO plan that was taught to a lot of real estate agents. And it's really hard to get that out of your brain. especially when you've been told this for the last several years, that this is the way that you get Google juice.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely trying to keyword stuff 20% down, because even in the description, it's in there a few times, and it doesn't read normal. It's not necessary.
Correct. And see, this would be a perfect example of take this description that you have right there, copy, pasted it in Chat GPT, and let's see how they rewrite this. All right. This would be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So I just took that same thing, and I'm just going to ask Chat GPT, can you rewrite this to sound better at a 8th grade level? Okay, here we go. And then I always put this in the little, I don't know if I need this. Okay, let's see what it says. Oh, here we go. Just super simple. Don't worry about 20% down payment myth stopping you from owning a home. In this video, I'll help you understand how to become a homeowner with less money down. You don't need 20% to buy a home, and I'll explain why. We'll also talk about the different types of loans you can get, how much you can borrow, and the advantages and disadvantages of each loan option. Let's make your dream of owning a home a reality. Watch this video and learn all about it. See, that just sounds much clearer than what you had. What you think?
I agree. I concur. I also think that you could take just another minute and even massage it a little more, and it'll flow better. But that took literally 10 seconds. It took you longer to ask the question than it did for it to rewrite it. So that's the point, is like you could easily swap that out and get a really good description really quickly. So that's why I love it so much, is because you can do those things and it makes a big difference. Someone's asking if you could take a look at theirs.
Well, we see it as Facebook users. So look, if you ever want a channel review and you happen to be in the audience and you're watching this, in this description it says get a free channel review. So just fill it out for next week and we'll do it next week. And then also, like, if you get a channel review and you fix a bunch of things,
submit it again.
You want to review it again? Let's do it again. I mean, Rebecca is our favorite channel to Rebecca here.
Yeah, she's put in. We've done hers a few times, but she's doing it too, though. It's like she's
always taking advice, always changing things, and we don't mind reviewing you again and again and again. So you're more than welcome to do that. And even if you're a student of ours and you want us to review your channel, please let us do that. We're here to help.
Yep. 100%.
Yep.
Well, I'm very excited about all the tools that are coming out, and we're just getting started into what tools are going to be available. And I really think that, taking advantage of these things will expedite the things that you have to do and give you more time to work on the things that you like to do.
Well, Rebecca, yours didn't come in this week, but we'll get you next week. Just fill it out and we'll do it again.
Yeah, fill it out again. Sorry, Rebecca. We know you're on a video challenge though, so good luck with that.
Yeah, Rebecca hecka hi, necka lani ani ho. Oh, and everybody, I want to let everybody know before we go, we have some exciting things coming out with our course, and we're doing a little housekeeping, a little revamping, and we'll be talking about them a little bit more probably next week or the week after. So, all right, Joey's, I'll see you next week. If you guys have any suggestions of things that you would like us to review and talk about, please let us know. I have no problem talking anything YouTube. Diary of the Mouth, one of those things I love to do. So, all right, everybody, have a fantastic weekend. We hope to see you soon. Make sure you leave a comment down below, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. I gotta find the